And boom, we're live. How's it going,
Yay!
guys?
Hey,
We're
Awesome.
joined today by Prototype Raptor and Ostberg. Jonathan and Victor, how are you guys doing today?
doing
Great.
good.
Doing great.
Good, good. Good
Excited
to
to
be
be here.
on a live stream.
Yeah,
Excited.
done.
So we'll get away the boring questions out of the way, and then we can free talk, do whatever we want. We can be rebellious. So we'll go ahead. Jonathan, I was talking to you before we went live. You said you've been producing for 10 years. What
Yeah.
made you want to jump into music and stuff? I find everybody kind of has their own little kick and stuff. Back when I wanted to produce, it was seeing a live show for the first time, like an electronic show that made me like, I want to do that. What was your kick that was like, what's your story?
I just kind of naturally got into it because I did band, right? And so I was doing band and wanted to arrange stuff. And then I was, using the sequencer to make like instrumental type things for, I guess, orchestral instruments. And then I found the sequencer and all the cool demo songs. And then I kind of got into that through a site called OC Remix, who they do like video game remixes and stuff. And I really wanted to get on that site, and you have to pass like a panel of judges. In a way, it's kind of like a what is that show? I don't watch TV. American Idol. It's like that, except with producing. And so I kept, refining and trying to get on that site for years, and then I finally got a couple remixes up there, and that was really how I got into it.
I got you. Like, now, when you say band, are you saying like a rock band, or are you talking like school band?
No. I'm talking like band.
Like band? Okay.
Like those kids in the back, yeah, in the back. That was me. I still play trombone, so.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Now you said like, I'm not seeing how you made that transition from like trombone to fucking like, electro house and shit, like how did you make that transition? Was it just curiosity?
Yeah. It was mostly because I was looking for programs at the time to sequence instruments, like do MIDI sequencing, that kind of thing. And then all the programs, they come with demos, so you load up and it shows songs and how you can use the programs and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I got distracted by the demos basically, and then I kind of make music like the demos, and then it just kind of snowballed from there.
Were you already listening to electronic music to start with?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So there we go. Okay.
Yeah, I just hadn't ever considered making it until I, was like, oh, you could do this.
You can do it. I believe in you.
Yeah.
Here, I'll walk her through how to do this and shit. All right, so Victor, I'm gonna go ahead and ask you the same question. Now, your producer name is Ostberg and stuff, and you do more funky stuff. Now, as far as your producer, how'd you get started? What made you want to step into this stuff, and how did you kind of begin to produce music?
Started kind of the same way. I didn't play in a band, but like a rock, punk, pop, rock band-ish.
Yeah.
Started playing guitar when I was 12, and played in a band for about 5-6 years, and just found out that music's what I want to do, and started producing. About 4 or 5 years ago. So yeah, it kind of went naturally.
Mm-hmm. Now, as far as you said you're in a band too. I think it's funny that you're both in a different style of band. I find that like band.
Yeah.
But I find like a lot of producers, at least electronic producers, I've never heard actually no, that's bullshit. I'm sure I've talked to people that have done that before, but typically I hear a lot of like electronic producers saying like, oh, I was playing piano, oh, I was in a band of some sort, oh, I was they were doing other things and then hopped on electronic music just out of oh, I want to do this and stuff. Now, did you being in a band, like a band, did that ever influence your music at all?
I'm not sure. My taste in music has changed a lot since I started playing in a band. As I said, at first I listened to like Green Day and The Offspring and NoFX and stuff. So I'm a totally different place today. So I don't know. I guess my taste in music has just changed over the years, and I feel like it's still changing, and I'm trying to find my genre.
Yeah, I gotcha. So you feel like you haven't found it yet?
I'm getting close, I think. But as I said when we spoke offline, I'm not completely happy with my songs. I mean, I'm happy enough with them to put them out on SoundCloud and stuff. But I think the remaining 5%.
I feel like any good producer, is never truly satisfied with his music because the taste of the public and the listeners, is constantly changing. Dubstep through every fucking type of electronic I feel has its time, and it kind of circulates. Music is constantly changing, and it's never gonna. You have those people that are like, oh, I remember back when music was good, but it's like music's constantly changing. It's never a solid thing. It's completely freeform. So,
I agree.
I feel like if you're a producer, and you're like, my music's the shit. Oh, and it's like it's never going to be great because it might be great now, but once music's constantly changing, it's going to turn into garbage at some point. I mean,
true.
But I mean, people always like this. Like I occasionally, have a very wide variety of music I like. Just like you said, your music has changed. I started out listening to, same stuff you did, Green Day, more punkish stuff. I went through a rap phase and even like a electro swing phase. Like you go through all these phases and stuff. I'll go ahead and ask you, Jonathan. Now, what do you listen to? Like, how is your style of music? You said you listened to electronic when you started producing, but how has that affected your style?
I agree with Victor on pretty much all accounts. I always like changing what I do, and I hate having to stick, these days it's so much about branding, and so you're trying to stay as an artist sound, and I have never really liked that. I wish people would explore more, just making kind of what they want. But I would say that really my main influences aren't from electronic music, just because of the band thing and what I was listening to is not always electronic music. I listen to a lot of 90s music and like Rachmaninoff. I have an eclectic music. Easiest way to put it. And so if I'm not working on electronic music, I Zapp and Roger may be playing in the background, or not the latest electro house jams. I guess I try not to stay too much in my own head in that world. I think you don't want to end up sounding like everyone else,
I totally.
And the easiest way to sound like everyone else is to listen to everyone else, and then everyone just kind of homogenizes, and then the scene dies. I think.
No, I totally agree with that.
Me too.
Yeah, people assume like, oh, you produce electronic music, or like I get a lot of the times my friends will be like, oh, like we'll be driving somewhere, I'll be driving or whatever, and they'll be like, you're listening to rock music? I thought you worked for an electronic label, and I'm like, I don't. Like you listen to it so much that it's like you almost want to branch out because it's like you said, you listen to everybody. If everybody listened to the same shit, everything would sound the same. Everybody would come together and just make the same stuff. Copy and paste tracks and stuff. And I think it's good to have different kind of music interests, so you can have different takes on like what a track should sound like and stuff like that, instead of just hearing the boom boom boom, the 128 BPM of a house track or something.
I mean,
go ahead.
That's what speaks to you. Then like that's cool. But for me, I like drawing from all the crazy influences that I can. My rule of thumb is if you start seeing the construction packs in your genre appear, then it's time to like really consider what you're doing.
No, I get you.
Yeah.
So, we'll stick with you, Jonathan. What type of software like, don't give me your trade secrets or anything like that, but like a basic rundown of what you use to produce and how, like, what is your routine when, or not even a routine, there's no fucking routine. Just a basic overview of what you do to produce software or whatever you do.
I use FL Studio and Ableton for the duties that FL just can't do, like time
both.
That kind of thing. Yeah, because FL's time warping engine just isn't Ableton's time warping engine, so I use them for their strengths basically. And as far as synths and things go, it's just I use a combination of everything that I can get my hands on. So Massive and Silent and Contact. I use a lot of orchestral Contact packs, sample libraries, and then for layering and stuff, I know people will probably crucify me for this, but if you're trying to fatten a sound up,
there we go.
finding a layer sound in Nexus if the occasion calls for it. Sometimes they work. And then, I mean, as far as drums and things go, I just have my own library I've built up. I like sampling from breaks and, that kind of thing. But as far as writing, typically it just goes with, a cup of coffee and then just kind of sit down, improvise at the piano a little bit, or just see what happens, basically.
I like how when you said, a cup of coffee, you just you did it like it was a commercial, like, and a cup of coffee. So Victor, I'm gonna go ahead and ask you the same question. By the way, just so everybody knows that watches this video, Victor is Ostberg and Jonathan is Prototype Raptor, producer names. So go ahead and same question for you. What is your typical, basic introduction of what you do to produce?
It always depends on, sometimes I get an idea in my head. I record it on my phone, and I sit down when I come home from work or whatever, and just start programming it in. And sometimes it becomes a song. And other times I usually start with drums, making the beat, the groove at first, and I just, same thing, playing around on piano, playing with guitar, just going with the flow, I guess.
Now you said you were in a band way back, or I don't know how long it's been and stuff, but do you mostly you sample the stuff? Do you record any of your own stuff, or do you have what instruments have you played that influence how you produce right now?
I play the guitar, so that's I record guitars, but everything else is just programmed. Or of course sometimes I record it on the piano and MIDI keyboard, and I chop it up and play with it. But
I've always wanted to learn piano. Would you say learning piano has a significant, somebody that learns piano has a significant advantage over the producing than somebody else?
I'm not so sure. I don't really play the piano. I just play by ear. So I usually just program. But sometimes I play by ear.
Now, Jonathan, how many instruments have you played? Have you just played trombone?
Yeah.
Have you just played the trombone, or you played anything else?
That was what I played in high school and up, and but I play a little bit of the piano, just enough to be able to input ideas and things, and then of course recording vocals, as you can see back there. But I think that if you can learn just enough of a piano to be able to use a little controller and put it in, that will help you significantly. Just being able to play the bass line instead of spending 15 minutes putting it in made a huge difference when I went just pointing and clicking. I don't know. For my workflow, it's much easier to play 8 bars than it is to try to spend the whole time, tweaking it.
I gotcha. It's I feel like it's better to get physical with something, instead of sometimes it just feels more natural, and you can do a lot more with playing stuff. I don't know if you guys have seen what's his fucking name? I'm gonna kill this because I don't know his name. There's a Monster Cat artist, and somebody's gonna crucify me because I don't know his name. But there's a Monster Cat artist that does a lot of wicked piano videos.
I'm assuming you're gonna talk about Haywire.
That's it. Yep.
Yeah.
I listen to him a lot, so like, I can't believe I can't come up with his fucking name off the top of my head. But his videos are insane and stuff, and I feel like that's a perfect example of something that's like, if you can play an instrument and use that to your advantage, like Victor, plays the guitar and you play a little bit of piano and stuff, if you can incorporate that into your production somehow, I feel like it always sounds a little better because you're actually playing the instrument,
It helps make it feel more natural, I think. Yeah. Since everything's already electronic anyway, being able to record, guitar, which I wish I could play, God, and being able to have that little bit of, natural touch, I think really helps. Because otherwise it's just too easy to end up sounding,
I feel like you can own it. Like, you can be like, I did that,
Yeah.
So, how did you go around to getting your name? Like, did you just like, oh, this sounds cool or whatever? Or did you have like a moment where you're like, I'm gonna call myself Prototype Raptor because of such and such?
I really wish I remembered the circumstances around it, but I mean, it was more than 10 years ago, so I was already, 14. That's not really the best time to do lifelong. I wasn't anticipating on it actually ever becoming a name. It was just something I did for fun on Newgrounds. So.
So you were a Newgrounds producer at one point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Back in the day.
Back in the day.
Yeah. But
I used to go to Newgrounds to find like all these cool tracks and stuff. That's where like the underground. Before I found out about SoundCloud, Newgrounds was like the place to be. Oh, you're a Newgrounds producer.
There were a lot of that place, and Section Z always had cool.
Oh wow! I forgot about that.
Yeah, those places. I know a lot of. I'd be curious to see like who got big now with their name, and now you can go back and find some old alias. Like, you can go way back if you go digging, you can find Deadmau5's first name and this bad, like trance and stuff.
Yeah.
I'd be curious, like, how many people you can dig up and just go, 15 years back and be like, okay, someone really liked psytrance,
It used to be a big hub,
Yeah.
I feel like it's died down a lot more now, but because, services like SoundCloud have popped up. But yeah. I don't know, I go on there from time to time. You'll be amazed about what you'll find on there, Some people are keeping it alive.
What was it called?
Newgrounds.
Newgrounds.
Newgrounds.com. It used to be this huge, like, collection of animation and games and music and all sorts of stuff. They don't really restrict what you can upload on there, but like, so there's some vulgar stuff on there. But I mean, it used to be a very, well, I don't know, maybe it still is. I don't think so, but I don't know. I don't visit it very often anymore. It's kind of like MySpace, in my opinion, to where it's like somebody uses it, but not enough.
Yeah,
I was like going there for games and stuff.
Yeah.
So Victor, how did you go about the name? Same question about being getting your name Ostberg and stuff.
It's my middle name, so.
Oh really?
Just yeah. I tried to make an artist name, but I didn't find anything good, so it just became my middle name. Laziness, I guess.
I mean, I don't. Where are you located?
Oslo, Norway.
Oh no shit. Yeah. See, in the U.S., we don't have badass names like that. Like Ostberg sounds so fun. Like, I dig that sound. I thought it was just something you made up, but that's so cool. That's your middle name and stuff.
Awesome.
There came a time in my area that a lot of people were trying to produce music and stuff. I'm not going to jump too into detail about that, but everybody was kind of coming up with producer names and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And a lot of, like, there was always this great debate of, like, why don't you use your name? Like Porter or Dylan Francis, these guys, just use their names as, other people have circumstances, Deadmau5, that whole thing. And then some people just make up their own names and stuff. but I've always personally liked just using your name.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know, it's natural, and it's been used. You know, you'll find a lot of producers that are non-electronic stuff too use bits in their names and stuff in their music. So what's it like over there? I've never personally been.
In Norway?
Yeah, what's it like? Like, what, you know, what's a day in Norway? What's your daily routine in Norway?
Day in Norway. I get up at 7 in the morning, go to work for 8 fucking hours, and and then it's straight home. Maybe minus 10 degrees. Making some dinner and music the rest of the night. Same routine every day.
Holy crap! It's like, I don't know, like 40 here, and and that's like fucking cold to me. So I can't even imagine. Now you said you work a full-time job, so
yeah.
I holy shit! Like, if you're doing a full-time job and producing at the same time, that's got to be a lot of, like, you gotta. I imagine you time manage yourself pretty well.
It works. It's not the best best solution, I think, but yeah, it works. I need the money, so I just have to make it work. But in the future, I think I'm gonna have to get a job with fewer hours and then more time. More time.
I imagine shit. That's gotta be rough.
Yeah. So
now,
that's
Jonathan, about you. Where are you located at?
I'm in Dallas, so it's like 65.
Dude, dude,
It's like
I'm in McKinney.
You're in McKinney?
I'm in fucking McKinney, dude.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm just north of you. Holy crap! I was in Dallas last night for Excision.
Oh, I didn't even know he was coming through.
Dude, it was gnarly. Okay, well, I don't, you know, people are here for you guys. I'm just a fucking talk show. So what's a day in Dallas like?
Well, I mean, pretty much the same routine as his. You get up early, you work, and then you come back, and then you try to get some music done. And then if you live in an apartment like me, you can't really crank the bass up, so you kind of try to figure out, you know, where your sub's at, and then you go back to bed and do it again.
The thing about, I don't know how it is in Norway, but our weather here is extremely bipolar. One day it can be beautiful outside, 60, 70 degrees, and then the next day it'll drop to 30, and then the day after that it will go to 80, and it's like every day is like a dice roll on like how hot or cold is it going to be. Go, and we'll see how hot it's ridiculous. So, Jonathan, we'll go ahead and stay on you for this one. You said you're in band. Is that the only like thing, like, musical experience you've had? Like, what was it like growing up? Like me, for instance, you know, I had interest in music for as long as I can remember. I started playing drums, but that didn't catch me. I played guitar for a while, and so on and so forth. Like as I got older, what have you done? Like, what was the first time you were like, I like music, I'm gonna play this or whatever like that? You know?
Well, I took, you know, the early age piano lessons for 3 or 4 years.
I wish I would have done that.
Yeah, I wish I'd kept with it, man. Like, I'd be so good now. But so that was my first experience with music, and both my parents played, you know, at least some sort of instrument, played piano a little bit. So it's always been kind of a musical, you know, family, and then I was the only one to like try to, you know, produce and take it to the next level, as it were. Mm-hmm. But band was my big experience, you know, all the way through university. I played in orchestras and jazz bands and all sorts of things up in Oklahoma, and as well as doing, you know, playing some shows as Prototype Raptor. Yeah. So I tried to do both, basically. So I got some of the classical stuff as well as, you know, playing some ragers at night.
Now, you've played live shows before?
Yeah.
How many have you played, and what was that like?
It was fun. I've played God, at least 10 plus, just all over, the U.S. primarily. And it was always fun. It's always a little bit surreal seeing a bunch of people there, for you. You're always like, oh, the headliner's coming. And you're like, oh, shit, it's me. Like, they're here to see you. So that was fun. But as much fun as it is, I still always liked the orchestra, like the actual classical settings better or just differently,
Mm-hmm.
There's something cool about like everyone being really quiet and listening to everything that you're doing like very intently.
Do you listen to Wolfgang Gartner?
Oh yeah, he definitely.
I love the tracks that he takes orchestrate stuff and throws it into some dirty electro house, and it's just like, oh, it's so good.
Yeah, he does it. He does it good.
So I don't. Eventually ENM's gonna look into doing live shows at some point. Since I'm in the area, I'll be sure to hit you up.
Yeah, I'll do it.
That's fucking nuts that you're so fucking close to me. All right, Victor. So you said you're actually, you've told me that you've been focusing more on production when it comes to live events and stuff like that. Now you said you played in a band and stuff. Did you ever play venues like that, or was it more of like local stuff like that?
We had a couple of gigs when I played in the band. I don't know. That's probably like 34 gigs, I would say. So
that's a good amount, though.
Yeah, it's a medium amount.
What was your experience like in a band? Like, how'd that go?
It was awesome. I loved playing in a band, but I started. I went away for school, I think, and it kind of stopped. And I studied music production, so it was a good substitute, I guess.
I really find like back when I was in high school, there's always a ton of bands and stuff. Some of them extremely talented, and it's always sad. Like I always find like a lot of them break up. Like a lot of them, if not all of them, people just constantly shift. Like one guitarist will leave and join another band, and so on and so forth. So it's like I feel like band life is hard. That's why it's like what was it like being in? Like you said, you went to school and stuff. Like, how does your band go about to being, formed and stuff like that, and what was it like?
We were 5 guys at first. I guess we were like 14 or something. I think there were 12. We're very talented guys, and I just kind of swooped in and we kicked out the vocalist. And I started playing guitar and singing. So that's how it started. What was your question?
Well, how did it go? Like, what's the story of your band? Like a quick summary of just like what?
I think we recorded like 12 songs or something. Like
what kind of genre were
you? Punk, rock.
Punk stuff.
Rock,
okay.
Yeah. So. Very different from what I do today, but so I think I played in the band for about 5 years, and I guess it's easier to just produce by your own on your own in your
I could see that.
Studio. You can send the files online, of course, and collaborations are very easy. It's a bit harder in a band. Stick together.
There's definitely benefits of working by yourself. You don't have somebody else you're having to wait on or work with, or if problems come up. There's never a conflict. It's all you.
Yeah. So pros and cons.
Now, you said your music's changed. Like what you've listened to has changed significantly over the course of your lifetime. Right now. What do you say? You said you're still trying to find, your sound. You feel like you haven't quite found it yet. What are you currently listening to now? And if you feel like it, what do you feel like is the next step in your music career?
Oof, that's a difficult question.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Actually, I started listening to Tuk. I saw
Oh,
them
really?
on this coffee meeting. I checked them out, and I loved pretty much every one
Yeah,
of
he's
his
a cool guy.
tracks. Yeah, so that's I love his style, and also I don't know if he's Norwegian. Skogsrå.
Mhm.
He's on SoundCloud, some awesome songs as well. So it's kind of more pop, I guess. But new disco is my
Now, would you
genre
say,
at the
like,
moment.
what are you wanting to do next, do you feel like? Like, me personally, like a good example would be like, if I was a producer and it'd be like, well, I make this right now, but I've always wanted to try this, and I think I'm about to tackle it. Being you feel like you haven't found your sound yet. Personally, I love the sound that you're producing out right now. I checked it out
Thank
a
you.
lot, listened to a couple tracks before we actually hopped on here. But
Cool.
what do you feel like you're gonna try to tackle next? Do you feel like you're gonna change, or you're not ready yet, or what do you feel like's next?
I don't think I have a plan. I just kind of feeling my way forward, if you can say that. But yeah, I don't have a clear vision of where I want to end up. But
Yeah, I gotcha.
but yeah, I think I just have to make more music and see where it takes me.
I got you. No, I totally understand. I feel like a lot of producers are like that.
Mm.
Jonathan, now, what are you currently listening to right now? Like, it's we kind of back and forth these questions and stuff. Um, what's next for Prototype Raptor? Like, do you feel like you're changing? Do you feel like you found your sound and you're happy with where you are right now? Like, what's it like for you right now musically?
I have made enough music at this point that I know kind of who I am musically and what I want to do. And I'm actually working on a new project that will branch out from Prototype Raptor and will be just that sound, if that makes sense. Because it's slightly less electronic than what I do now with the Raptor stuff.
Yeah.
But I think I agree with Victor. It just takes time. You just have to put in the hours and scrap a lot of demos and things that you don't like, and to get to the point where you're happy with what you're doing. Because I wouldn't certainly want anyone to hear the first 4 to 5 years of demos that I made. Like, God, those are lost. Not coming back, But as far as stuff I've been listening to these days, a lot of like Chromeo, the new disco stuff.
Oh yeah, I love Chromeo.
And a lot of sort of 90s alternative I've been getting back into. So I've been revisiting, 9 Inch Nails, the Downward Spiral, all the classics there, and even some old, Infected Mushroom, and been rediscovering the EBM movement in like V&V Nation and those European bands. And at the same time, I've also been getting more and more kind of into the indie stuff. So I've been listening to a lot of Flying Lotus and Tycho, who's always been one of my favorites. But that's kind of where I'm at least, what's playing in the jukebox.
So you said you have a new project coming out. You said it's a different style than what you're currently doing right now, or it's just kind of more defined?
Yeah, it'll be more defined, basically. I'm just kind of, for years, I've just uploaded kind of what I've wanted to as Prototype Raptor, and that's not going to change, but this will be more like a sharpened, like a scalpel, as it were.
More specific.
Yeah.
Okay.
More,
So, do you have like a favorite producer at all that you feel like inspires your music and stuff you listen to, and you're like, oh, I really like what he did here and stuff? Like, you might have several, but do you have like a specific one that you just look up to? Would you say like a favorite, fan favorite?
Yeah, I would easily say, as far as producers go, Trent Reznor would be my favorite, just because he kind of got me into the whole producing, you know, like as a producer, and then he would hire the musicians. So he'd record everything himself and then bring people on board as he needed to. And he does, you know, soundtracks, and he does it all now. So he's really like sort of composer, producer that I look up to. And then as far as electronic music goes, I've always, you know, looked up to Wolfgang. He's always been my favorite.
I figured whenever you started talking about the orchestrating stuff, I was like, I know somebody just like that. It's fucking Wolfgang.
Wolfgang and Porter Robinson, I've always, you know, liked as far as electronic music goes. And, of course, Chromeo. And I actually was introduced to a new guy called Daze, who makes really cool new disco, too, that I like, sort of look up to.
I feel like I've heard of him, but I can't, like, pick a track off the top of my head, though.
And then there's always, you know, new guys that constantly inspire me to try to be like, well, shit, I should be better than what I am now. Like Haywire. In a while, someone comes along, you're just like, man, he's 19. Like, what am I doing?
Oh my God, when Maddion first started coming up, God, I feel like he was a slap to the face to like everybody. Just like, this kid's so fucking young and he's made it. And it's just, I feel like I'm not even really a producer, and I was like, holy, like this kid. You know, he's extremely talented. There's no doubt about it. But it's like, it was just like a, hey, everybody, do better. Look at me, you know?
Yeah. I'd also be remiss to not point out the granddaddy of us all, Aphex Twin, who I was really into, Richard D. James, and Square Pusher. I listened to a bunch of, like at 97-ish.
I gotcha. How do you discover your music, would you say? Like, I know that, you know, you sometimes you just come across it and stuff, but me, a personal way I like to just extend what I listen to is I'll go on Spotify. Some people go on Pandora, you know, they'll have the, you know, radio station that kind of just throws some at you, you know, you'll listen to it. What's your favorite way to discover new producers and music and stuff like that?
These days, I mean, Spotify and Pandora, like you said, do a lot of the legwork for you. Back in the day, it was just sort of recommendations, just people being like, here's, you know, cool stuff, check this out, and you'd follow the links and related artists, that kind of thing. And also just looking through, you know, DJ promos, that kind of thing, you can find a lot of, you know, new music. There's just so much of it coming out now, and there's a lot of it that's really good that I never feel like you get the time to look through it all. So I kind of rely on those things and recommendations from other friends, or, you know, things that I hear played out that are really cool.
I wish SoundCloud had something like that, because, well, yeah, that'd be sketchy, but the thing that my only complaint about stuff like Spotify and, you know, Pandora and stuff is it's all like, you know, you'll get the big time names and stuff, but whenever I want to listen to underground stuff, you have to literally search for it. As like, I feel like if like something like SoundCloud had like a search feature and stuff, and you could have like, oh, it's got to have such and such many views, you know, you don't want something that's just utter garbage showing up on your feed. But I feel like that'd be a really cool feature. But I totally hear you out. I find a lot of music through Spotify. That's my favorite right now. It's just so convenient, and it's cool to always find like a brand new song that's like gives you goosebumps. You're like, oh, this is so good, I never knew about it, you know. Getting new tunes in your ear is always good. So I'm gonna go ahead and ask you the same question, Ostberg. How do you go about finding music? Is it sort of the same? Do you branch out, maybe forums or something like that, or pretty much the same way?
No, it's pretty much the same, yeah. Use a lot of Spotify, and of course I search through SoundCloud a lot too. I just go through likes of artists I've already liked. So yeah, I find a lot of cool tunes on SoundCloud as well. But I agree, it's kind of hard to find tracks that suit you on SoundCloud. It could be better, I guess.
They just did a big format, like SoundCloud's been changing a lot recently and stuff. And I've gotten so many complaints about that, just like, oh my god, have you seen the new SoundCloud? Oh, it's garbage and all this stuff. Like, oh man, they're getting a lot of hate on that stuff. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What do you feel about it? Jonathan.
Are you asking?
I'm sorry, I should start specific names. Jonathan, what do you feel about the new SoundCloud format?
I mean, I just wish that they would fix the basic site functionality rather than try to make it all pretty and change the formats and stuff. Because when I first got on, it was awesome, like the classic SoundCloud,
Yeah.
you know, the OG, and it was the best, hands down, better than YouTube. You know, MySpace was dead, and Facebook didn't and still doesn't have any sort of audio integration for whatever reason. So SoundCloud was the natural, you know, sort of partner, and it worked beautifully for the year and a half. And then they started rolling out the changes, and they broke it completely, almost on a fundamental level, at least to me. And I still have hope. Like, it's still there's still no real good alternative. But it went from being, you know, the premiere, I would tell everyone to get on SoundCloud, to maybe it will work someday again. At least for me.
I feel like they're trying to compete with services like Spotify and stuff like that. I feel like that's the issue. They're trying to go from like more of a production format to more of like a streaming, like, because there's so many accounts on there that of people just like not producing, just there to listen, that they're trying to make it more accessible for them, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't.
Now, Victor, I didn't ask you this question. Going back to the whole producer thing, like, you listen to, you know, a ton of music like all of us here, but what would you say your favorite producer inspiration, somebody you look up to, or maybe not look up to, but just somebody you can't get enough of, somebody you listen to a lot?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say my biggest influence, I think it's Michael Jackson.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Started when I was I don't know what it's called in English. First 7 years of school.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I remember going home after school and listening to Michael Jackson and making toast or whatever. So that's how it started. And but yeah, I've had a musical journey. I listen to heavy metal and punk in between, but that's kind of my roots in musical style, I guess.
Now, do you listen to a lot of new disco, or just?
Yeah, of course, Oliver Nelson.
Oh yeah.
Awesome productions. As you said before, Madian, his productions are crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So those two at the moment in terms of production, I would say.
Now, would you, for the people that, you know, will watch this video or are currently watching now, like, do you have any music recommendations of, you know, let's go ahead and keep to electronic music, but any producers you recommend people checking out that they may or may not be currently listening to?
As I said before,
Oh no! Oh dang!
I'm listening.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
That's hello.
On. You're cutting out, Victor. Here, try it on. Wait. Okay, we'll give it a second to buffer. I'm gonna come back to you on that because that totally cut out for the entire thing. So think on that real quick. I'll come back to you, Jonathan. I'm gonna go ahead and ask you that question first. For people watching, electronic music recommendations that you feel like people aren't currently listening to.
I actually hear a lot of cool stuff through my bandmate in a side project I do called Our Time, and he shows me a lot of cool labels and collectives. So as far as like artists go, there are a lot of dudes that do sort of side projects, and they'll release one or two cool tracks as, you know, just some unknown name that no one knows about, and then go back to their main name. So a label that does a lot of stuff like that is Main Course, which they put out a lot of cool sort of, I guess, techno, for lack of a better word, but just a lot of cool music. And then another place to check out is a label called Blood Music, and another one I've been into, trying to look up the actual
That's fine, dude. Take your time, man.
Yeah.
We're all just chilling.
Hanging out. Lucky Me is another cool one.
Is that a label or a name?
It's
Like
a label.
Label. I like that.
Yeah, they've put out Cashmere Cat. That's sort of, yeah. And then, of course, if you don't listen to Rusty, you should listen to Rusty.
I don't think I've listened to any of that. Okay, I'll have to check that shit out too.
Rusty has a BBC Essential mix that you should totally listen to.
I love BBC mixes.
The whole thing has like Legend of Zelda samples over the top, just nonstop. Like
I don't know what it is about that, but there's so many producers that use like Zelda samples and shit in their music. Like they'll throw that stuff out, and like a lot of them. For the first time I saw Zed, he was releasing. I think it is called Legend of Zelda or something like that. But first time I saw him, I was like, "Oh, this is so cool!" But then it's like I hear it all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's got cool. I can't blame him. It sounds great, and stuff. It's just something that people pick up and stuff. So Victor, we'll go ahead and go back to you. Hopefully, it won't cut out this time. Fuck, I don't even remember. Oh yeah, tracks that you feel people like, recommendations, your own personal recommendations of where people can maybe find new music or producers they may have not have heard of, stuff like that.
Are you talking about artists or places to find music?
Either or, like Jonathan just talked about, labels. So like just any recommendations you have to people to get a new sound in their ear, stuff like that.
One producer I've been listening to a lot lately is called Mitch Murder. Have you any of you heard about him?
Mm-mm.
Real cool, old school, 80s sounding disco something. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So Mitch Murder, I only use SoundCloud to find music, and YouTube and Spotify like everyone else. So I don't think I have any good expertise. There. But and as I said, Skogsrå. I think he's Norwegian. I love his stuff as well. Real indie pop disco stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Now
I guess that's my answer.
Yeah, I gotcha. Now, do you have any? Now that's for music listeners and stuff like that. We'll go ahead and step away from that and talk about, directly to producers. As a producer, I feel like you both are extremely talented and you have the right to say this and stuff, but do you have any recommendations, or not recommendations, but tips, whatever you want to say, to upcoming producers, maybe somebody just getting started, stuff like that, things you've learned over the course of producing your own music that would help? Actually, here's a better way to put it. If you're talking to an older, like younger you, when you first got started, what tips would have given yourself to help you out? Things you know now that you wouldn't back then.
Focus on finding good samples, especially for drums and stuff. Finding good raw material, I've found to be very important, and something I didn't care too much for when I started out. But for me, it's been basically just figuring things out on my own. It just takes time. Watching tutorials and everything can get you so far. Of course, it's helpful, but in my experience, it's just working as much as possible to become better and to hear your old tracks and hear what's wrong with them. And yeah, for me, that's a matter of time. But sorry.
I got you, Jonathan. We'll go ahead and go to you now. If you were talking to a younger version, somebody first starting out prototype Raptor, what advice would you have given yourself to help yourself better?
I would say, first of all, definitely echo what Victor said, and finding good raw samples is so better than trying to make it sound good with enhancement plugins and doing all this magic. If you can just get a good bass and not have to mess with it, it'll always sound better. And I spent way too much time trying to figure out, how to beef up some terrible snare or something.
Yeah,
It's actually
me too.
writing a song, you know. So my advice then would to be not try to sound like everyone else too, you know. Try to write, you know, a cool music that you like, and don't necessarily think so much about, you know, the genre or where you're fitting in, or, you know, that sort of thing. You can figure that out later when it's second nature, but when you're first starting it out, I think it's easier probably to tap the creative side if you're just kind of free flowing, if that makes sense. Like if you're drawing, you do a warm up for drawing where you just like do a line on paper and try to make it, you know, as you're going, like a stream of consciousness type thing. And I think that would help. At least it would have helped me if I did that with music, instead of trying to be like, all right, I need a 16-bar intro here, you know, so I can mix in, and then I have to use major chords here because they're happy, you know. It would have accelerated the process if I just, you know, done it.
Yeah, I gotcha. We have about 10 minutes left and stuff, so the last question I really want to ask you guys is just, Victor, we'll go ahead and go back to you. Right now, what can fans of yours, people that are listening to music, or people that are about to start listening to your music, what can they look forward to? What are you currently working on?
Yeah, I have to say I'm really privileged to be working with you guys, and I will soon have my first release. I hope. Yeah, I have finished one song with John Thomas, and I'm currently working on some remixes, and I'm also in a project with Chuck New at the moment.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's going to be exciting.
I can't get enough of those guys. They're extremely talented vocalists. Yeah. They're really nice guys. From somebody that has heard your track, I've heard a good portion of your track that you're going to be releasing with ENM. It's fucking great. I love it. I got this shit on repeat, dude. It's a really talented work, and I'm really excited to release it.
Thank you.
Jonathan, we'll go ahead and go to you. What can fans of yours or people that are going to start listening to you, what can they look forward to you? Like, what are you currently working on? What can they expect in the future?
Right now, I am working on finishing up just a whole bunch of whips for Prototype Raptor that I've, you know, just kind of been working on over the months, and so those will probably be free releases, starting with the Dead Mouse remix competition.
Oh, you're in that?
Yeah. So if that you know goes well, it may be an official release, but more than likely, like 99.99% chance, it will be a free SoundCloud thing. So that'll be the next thing that comes out here soon. And then I have a full album, about 45, 47 minutes long worth of stuff that I'm looking around trying to find the best, you know, distribution for. And that will either be soon, I hope. I can't give like a real date, but I'm hoping in March will be the release there, and that will probably be the kickoff for the new project.
I gotcha. We've actually way back, you know, we get a lot of feedback to our channel. Our channel used to be very dubstep and electro house heavy and stuff, and we actually promoted a good chunk of your music and stuff, and people are always like, oh, bring it back and all this stuff, you know. We do a lot more new disco and pop-ish sounding stuff nowadays and stuff, but I know, at least speaking on our fan base's behalf, we really enjoy your music and stuff, and we'll definitely expect to be listening to your stuff in the future. And for you guys listening,
on the list. You get a copy.
At least on speaking to the people that are watching this video, go support him in his contests and stuff. Go check him out, vote for him. How can they help you out regarding the Dead Mouse competition?
I I mean, that really comes down to if they like it or not. I have a feeling.
I mean, of course, but just go ahead and assume everybody fucking loves it, you know?
Yeah. Then they can. I mean, they can go visit the link. I have it up on my Facebook page. They can visit it, and they can hear the whole thing streaming, of course. So you can listen to it now. You just won't be able to download it until judging is over in a week, I think. And if they want to, they can vote for the track, but you have to make an account. It's kind of a pain, and I don't really like pushing that stuff on people anyway. So
they always do that. I hate that shit. Where it's like, I get a lot of producers that are like, "Oh, vote for me." I'm like, "Yeah, sure, dude. I'll totally do it." And they'll get in there. It's like this whole fucking. It's almost like a contract.
Yeah. It's like an application.
Make an account with us. Then you have to make an account with these guys, and then you can vote for your friend. And it's like, you know, it's such a pain in the ass. But I mean, that's why they host those contests, you know, for them more than the producers. So we only have, you know, 5 so minutes left. So we'll go ahead and close out and stuff. Now regarding ENM and stuff. If you guys have been keeping up with their posts, this isn't directly towards you two as much as it is people that will watch this video. If you guys have been keeping up with our Facebook, Twitter posts, stuff like that, we can't release anything yet, but we have a lot of changes coming to the label and stuff that we are really excited to implement and stuff, and we have a lot of improvements we're going to be making here soon, so you guys can expect that in the future and stuff. Today I've been joined with Prototype, Raptor, and Ostberg. Thank you guys for coming so much and stuff. Be sure to check them out on all their social sites and stuff, and give their music a listen and stuff. Thank you guys for tuning in, and you will can expect another live stream up pretty soon and stuff. I'm Cody Hamilton. You've been joined with Jonathan and Victor today, Ostberg and Prototype Raptor. Thank you guys so much for joining.
Thank you.
Take it easy, man. Thank you guys for watching.